Hi there, good afternoon, and welcome to Canceling COVID. I'm Tanya Rivens. Of course, our overall goal is to keep you and your family safe during this pandemic. We pride ourselves on having real talk with real people, real conversations, and we've got resources that are so helpful. This is a safe place, and you'll find out some great information as you get ready to hop on. Please share, let people know the information that we're providing. It is targeting our community and an entire community. But I will say we have some conversations that typically you're not going to hear on other outlets. Of course, we're addressing your concerns and your questions. We invite you to hop in our chat and share any concerns or questions you might have. I have to always make sure I acknowledge those that support us. I'm talking about Mecklenburg County Public Health. That's mecnc.gov. Again, mecnc.gov. We're so grateful for their partnership. And you can always call them if you have any questions or if you're in a situation trying to just figure it out because it's a lot to navigate. You can always reach out to Mecklenburg County 980-314-9400. 980-314-9400. I'm in here moving and shaking and baking, making sure that everything is moving along. And of course, my producer keeps me on task as well. Also, thank you to Groundwater Solutions, Dr. Tracia Black, so supportive and working in the community. To them, we also want to acknowledge and say thank you for your support. New developments are happening on COVID-19 as far as the booster shots. Overnight, the CDC announced frontline workers between the ages of 18 to 64, they're eligible for a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine as soon as today. So they can go ahead and get this booster shot. The initial recommendations was only for included, or it was only for older adults rather, and long-term facility residents and people with underlying health conditions. Well, now frontline workers can get those shots. So I want to bring in someone. She's not a frontline worker. I know her very well, near and dear to me, and she's actually retired. And I wanted to bring on Miss Dia Rashid. I'm not sure what's happening with her screen right now. There she is. Well, we'll get her back up. I kind of called her, pulled her in last minute because I thought her conversation would be great. There she is. It's my mother in love. So good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So, I wanted to bring you in because we talk often about this, what's going on with COVID vaccine, and you are retired. I've already mentioned that. And one of the things I want to start off the gate is you are now fully vaccinated, but initially you were a little bit hesitant. Why?
Well, I think it's because it wasn't approved yet. And once it was approved, I went straight like 2 days later and I got vaccinated. But even after that, I sat down and I thought to myself, you know what? You've had lots of vaccinations in your lifetime. You had no idea what they were. And the technology today is so much better than it was back then. So why wouldn't it take less time to create a vaccine now than it did back in the day? Technology today, I really understand how they could create a vaccination, you know, a good vaccination, say
Right.
within a year.
And one
And
of the
it took 10, 15 years because they didn't have the technology that they have now.
absolutely, and the experts that we've had on even explained that they had been working on it all along. They were able to maneuver and move this one specifically. But let's talk about the booster shot. Do you plan on getting that as well?
I do. Once I'm eligible, I will get it. I'm almost 80, and I
Mhm.
do have chronic bronchitis, so I'll fit in that category where I'll be able to get the booster.
Well, you're a good looking 80, that's for sure.
Thank you.
But a lot of people are hesitant to get the booster shots. Like I'm not planning on going back again. And I see a lot of reports of how this whole process has been mismanaged. I always say, allow a little grace for folks. We've never been in this situation before. But for people that are hesitant to get, I don't even want to talk about COVID-19, but people that now don't want to go back and get the booster shot, what would you say to them?
Well, I mean, to me, I didn't have any effects, any side effects at all. I got it like on the 15th of September, and I
Mhm.
think if I was going to have any, I would have had it by now. I
Right, right.
continue, my time has continued on just like I do every day. I had zero. My daughter, myself, and my grandson got them at the same time, and none of us have had any side effects. So I have no hesitation about getting a booster.
Well, and I appreciate you so much for that because what we really strive to do is just talk to community, regular people, real conversation about how you're feeling, how you're
Mhm.
responding. And it's great to hear no side effects, just continued on. But would you say, or do you feel comfortable maybe sharing with someone who's hesitant to get it? Would you offer them any advice or suggestions?
Of course, I would. I mean, I would say you've had lots of vaccinations in our lifetimes that we had no idea what they were, how they were created, how long it took, what was in them, anything like that. So to me, this is just another vaccination that you
Yeah.
have to take.
Well, I certainly appreciate you sharing that. Is there anything else you'd like to share as we see people hopping on? Miss Erica Simonton Beatty, good afternoon. Also, Connie Green, hello. And we're trying really just to educate our community. We're not trying to force anyone. We really encourage them to get the facts. That's why Mecklenburg County Public Health says, hey, call us up if you got questions. And so I just want to say thank you for sharing your take on the
Yep.
vaccine as well as the booster shot. Is there anything else you would like to say before we close
Well,
out?
I would like to advise people to get it. I would really like for us to get back to a normal situation. And the quicker everybody gets vaccinated, the quicker we can get back to normal. I hate wearing a mask,
I know.
but I have to wear it because I don't know who has been and who hasn't been. So I still continue, even though I'm vaccinated, I continue to wear my mask.
And let me just say, personal point of privilege. You were so cautious at first. You were like, I'm not getting
I
it.
was.
We came over there. We had to have our mask on. You were
I
not playing.
was.
You were not leaving the house. And you're like, I'm not getting it because I'm fine. I'm retired. I'm right here. And I told my husband, I get it. She's in a position where she has to be careful and use caution, but she's also able to stay home and to have everything delivered to her. But
Right.
obviously, we like coming over for gatherings and getting outside,
Exactly.
doing
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and after a while, you really start to miss that.
Yep, you are right. I totally agree, and that was one of the concerns that I had, and that was one of the reasons what made me change my mind and go and get it because I do like family gatherings and things like that, and it's you and especially in my position because of my age and my chronic bronchitis, I just have to be very careful. So now I can continue on with my life.
Yeah, well, we're so grateful for you, and thank you. My beautiful mother in love, everyone, Miss Dia Rashid. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us and to share some great wisdom. So I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it. Thank you.
having me.
Absolutely. Great job, folks. As we try to reach out and talk to real folk about what we're dealing with in our community. I believe that's Minister Connie Green who just hopped on. Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. And when I say that about Mama Dia, I'm telling you the truth. She was taking every precaution, and I thought it was huge when she went ahead and got vaccinated because we miss being around one another and just enjoying life. And one of the things she said, come on, folks, we need to get back to not where we started because it's going to be a new norm, but certainly we all can do our part and try and contribute to get there. Now, some more exciting stuff to share with you. Residents and people with underlying health conditions obviously are eligible, and you heard her say when she's able to get the booster shot, she's having no problem hopping on and getting it. So far, North Carolina has administered more than 11 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. 63% of adults in the state are fully vaccinated. So we're making some progress. I mean, certainly we need to get that up and try to improve on those numbers. And we welcome you. Any questions, concerns? I see my husband has hopped on, and mom's, yes, as always, comes through and certainly shared some great information with everybody. What we're going to continue to do is provide information. That's what we're here to do. That's what we want to provide. So I said 63% of adults in this state fully vaccinated. Governor Cooper is now asking churches and houses of worship to help get those vaccination numbers up by holding immunization clinics or becoming vaccine ambassadors. So let me just pause for one quick second. I work as an ambassador for Atrium Health. They also recruit, and it's not a big commitment. It's just having conversations, knowing how to hold those conversations, and not offending people. And you heard from Mama Dia, she just said, I don't have a problem just sharing with people. It's how you talk with them, not to make them feel like they are totally wrong, but just to explain to them. And it's going to take so much more of that. I see Miss Jacqueline Hill and Shelby hopping on. Hey, good afternoon. She's going to get the booster shot once it's available as well. Great to hear that. But I was talking about the vaccine ambassadors, and I just want to share this real quick. Genesis Project and Groundwater Solutions, they are in immediate need for community health workers, which is kind of like an ambassador as well, and it's for Mecklenburg and Union counties. We're talking a job, folks, and the responsibilities include supporting COVID-19 testing, outreach, as well as education and community resources. You can get paid, and you can also share the great information. Okay, Connie says, who do we contact? You can, interviews are for candidates are being held on Sunday. Write this down, September 26th, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. Sunday, this Sunday, 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. And they're wanting you to respond quickly for interview availability. You can email hr2 at genesisproject1.org, hr2 at genesisproject1.org, or call 704-596-0505, 704-596-0505. Share this information, folks. If you're looking to pick up something, maybe need some cash for the holidays, looking for something additional, here's a great opportunity. And it's all about outreach and community, and a great opportunity for you to not only support the community but also support yourself, because there are finances involved, and it looks like you can start work as early as Monday. You can't beat that. So that, like I just mentioned, holidays are right around the corner, so that's a great opportunity. Now, my guest also joining us today, she's been helping congregations take control of their physical, mental, and spiritual health during COVID and beyond with a new program, and it's called Rise in 3. And I want to bring on this guest and hear more about it. It's Dr. Michelle McGill. She's from Lifetime Lifestyles. Hey, Dr. McGill, good afternoon.
How are you, Tanya?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for your patience, and thank you so much for hopping
Oh,
on and joining us. We really appreciate it. So
no
let's
problem.
start
Happy
by,
to be here.
yeah, the pandemic is showing us all the need to take care of our overall health. And if there's a silver lining anywhere, then that is one of the things. We've been a lot more conscious, having a lot more conversations about our health. And my, have we gotten away from that? Physical, mental, and spiritual. And so you've got this Rise in 3 that has been created. And obviously, you put a lot of thought and effort into it. The purpose is to fix those underlying health conditions that are affecting so many people, these problems that can make COVID so dangerous. So, kind of walk us through how Rise in 3 empowers churches to have a dialogue on health.
Okay, so basically, Rising Three is was birthed just because of, I look at my own life, and even now how you mentioned like COVID has changed the way we think about things. We tend to compartmentalize like how we're doing things. So we're either working, we're either mom, we're either daughter, we're either wife, etc. So one of the things, especially in healthcare, we always don't really lean on that spiritual side or that holistic side of the person. We'll look at the science and focus on the
Mhm.
science only, but we miss that part. And a lot of times that is the missing link into really helping someone to get well. So with Rising 3, it basically focuses on the mind, the body, and the spirit. And we it's Rising 3 because it's a 3-week program, because
Mhm.
studies have shown that it takes 21 days, which is 3 weeks, to create
Right.
new habits. So we look to create those new healthy habits so that people are able to take care of themselves holistically.
Well, how did you come up with the idea, for this program, and what do you actually hope to accomplish? What's the end game from all of this?
So, like many churches, my church as well, when COVID hit, it was pretty sudden, and we had to figure out ways to still be engaged and still be able to connect with each other and still serve the membership. So, a
Mhm.
lot of that technology portion landed, I want to say, on us middle younger generation, because I'm a little older than most too, but I had a better understanding of it than say some of our older members. But in that process, learned that, okay, well, we can still have those engaging and fulfilling and spiritual um, activities, even though it's
Right.
virtual. So that's
Yeah.
basically how it went. And then as we started to see that COVID was taking a toll on the community, it was like, okay, what else can we do in order to serve the congregation and the community better? So
And
there you have you.
and that's so important. That's what another issue that we've all had to address is get creative and probably come up with things that we never would have thought that we had or that we could do. So that's great to hear. So what comes to your mind when you see the COVID numbers and how the pandemic has disproportionately affected communities of color?
So for myself, knowing what I know and that this has always been working towards ending health disparities has been where I've been at since I've been in practice for the last 11 years. So
Uh-huh.
I wasn't surprised. And
Oh,
it was that it was going to take something like this to really unmask it so people can really see what's really happening. And what it really means that to be affected by these chronic diseases, what it really will mean for the community. So it wasn't surprising to me, but it still was devastating.
absolutely. Dr. McGill, you say it's not surprising and you think that it took this to get our attention, but is it really getting our attention? Because we still have a lot of people in our community. We just heard from my mother in law. She's almost 80, and we know we've been vaccinated in the past. We know all of these, but there are still people that are just holding out saying, I'm not going to do it.
Well, when it comes to the vaccine and COVID, um, I think that we're looking at that a little. I don't want to say wrong, but we're looking at it in respect. When we look at the vaccine is meant to be a sandbag, and we're in hurricane season, so a lot of people can understand this, that the sandbag is not going to keep the water from coming, but it
Oh,
will slow the water down, and it will help to create some of a dam, so to say, to help protect. But we still need to do the things to mitigate. And that is the one thing that I think we see my daughter in the background.
I do see your daughter. Look at
She's
look, I
just
got my
doing her
dog
own
in
thing.
here.
She's in her Play-Doh. She doesn't care.
That is
Mommy's in her
so
office
cute. Yeah, I see
working.
the little ponytail.
she's back there doing her thing. But
Oh, hey, cutie pie.
so we need to make sure that yes, people are getting vaccinated, but we're still having those conversations that the vaccine is not here to fix anything, because they're still trying to figure out what exactly are the limitations of the vaccine. So we still have to wear our mask. We still have to
Right.
socially distance. We still have to be vigilant. And that takes me to the next point, why my daughter is still behind me, because I have the ability to keep them at home and homeschool them, but I do understand that there are children that need to be in school because they need that professional attention from those teachers. So for our family, we made the decision that, okay, we will keep our children at home. I will continue to homeschool them, but that gives room for the kids that need to be there. So we don't have to look at it as it's a have all, be all, either way, that you got to do this or you have to do that. I do believe that there is a healthy medium between all of it. But yeah, I think that's where the whole thing with the vaccinations, and everyone just went wow, like they went crazy, like we were vaccinated, we could just run back out here in the world and do all
Right,
kinds of
right.
things. And we
Yeah.
said, whoa, that's not going to work the way we thought it was going to work. But
Right.
time
And so
showed
now
us.
we're in. Yeah. And so now we have gone backwards, all the progress that we had made. And here we are heading into another holiday season saying, maybe we're going to have to do drive-bys again. And like, no, how
Yeah.
did we end back here? So let's talk about the churches and the houses of worship. Can they sign up since the program can be done virtually? And if so, kind of walk us through how the sign up process works.
Yes, so yes, the program can be done virtually. If you're interested, if all they have to do is visit my website, it's www.lifetimelifestyles.com. And then you just click on Rising 3 and you'll schedule your consultation.
All right. So lifetimelifestyles.com, lifetimelifestyles.com. So you're a health and wellness coach, doctor. Are there any diet changes that you would recommend to build immunity as to whether, for COVID and flu season is coming up on us? That's another argument I hear from so many people. Is, well, I'm healthy. I eat healthy. I got a healthy lifestyle. And I look at them and I go, look, I am not giving up sugar anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And all this healthy stuff, I applaud you, but I know my lifestyle creates quite a challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
if you could make some kind of recommendations to go along, I am all ears.
Well, when it comes to health and wellness, yes, we know that a body that is fed good, nutritious foods, that exercises regularly, and it manages its stress, because stress
Hmm.
does kill too,
Yes, it
um,
does.
is one that tends to adapt to um, dis-ease. When I say dis-ease, I'm not just talking about pathogens and germs, but
Hmm.
dis-ease processes in the body much better. Now, is
Okay.
that going to keep you from getting anything ever? No, 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 no. There are going to be times when maybe your stress levels are a little higher than others. And for that
Hmm.
reason, you become susceptible. Because when we look at the disease, as far as disease process with pathogens, there is a link in each way how we become infected. So there's
Okay.
6 links in that chain, and if you break that chain at any point in time, then you can be able to get rid of a certain virus. We're going to use COVID, for example. Hence
Okay.
why masks and socially distancing became one of those, because it was trying to break that chain of creating reservoirs for the virus. Now, when we work on ourselves, one of those chains is a susceptible host. So when we work on our diets and we want to exercise, etc., we're working
Hmm.
on not being a susceptible host, being able to be succumb to a virus or a disease process, and being able to maintain health as we consider it when we're able to do what we want, when we want, how we want. So when it comes to that, now that we're in the fall, I always say twice a year doing a cleanse. So now is the perfect time to do a cleanse. So it's not something that you do for forever, but I mean, most of us for a couple of days, we can stomach giving up the bad stuff, at least for a
Right.
couple of days, and replenishing our body. So during that time, eating wholesome organic fruits and vegetables, increasing your water intake, getting a good probiotic in your system or prebiotic, getting fiber, increased fiber in your diet to be able to cleanse out your GI tract. Those things will do your body really well.
Well, you are a health and wellness coach as well as a chiropractor, Dr. Michelle McGill. That is. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. Any words of encouragement or tips for other families who might be traveling the same path as far as remote learning? You mentioned that earlier that you made the decision as far as homeschooling your children, and I really like and wish that more, parents, if they're in the position, a lot of them
Right.
are. The
Yeah.
fact is, you took that in consideration, but any words of encouragement to them, maybe ways to talk to their children about the changes that we're having to make as a result of COVID?
Well, I definitely say one of the biggest things that was helpful to me was getting into support groups. So there are a lot of groups out there, because again, we went from regular school to all of a sudden we were in this homeschool environment, and I just
Mhm.
took that time to kind of learn and to see what things work for certain persons, etc. And then I had to come to the conclusion, just like with COVID and everything else, that there's no such thing as normal. And we have to
Right,
be pliable, and we have to adapt accordingly and give grace wherever it is needed. Whether you feel like, well, we didn't get 6 lessons done today, that's okay. We did 4. We can
right.
find other ways to supplement, and it's been a journey. And honest to God, I'm thankful for it, because it has taught me a lot about my children.
Well, that's one of the first things that last year, parents started to have a whole new appreciation for the educators and everything that they are dealing with in the classrooms. And again, our children, we just need to really try to make intentional decisions
Right.
on what is for our children, especially when it comes to academics. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Again,
you.
give out your website and any last words if you'd like to share anything else with our viewers.
Okay, so again, the website is www.lifetimelifestyles.com. And I just want to tell everyone, stay encouraged, find those support systems. You want to keep up those good habits, exercising, meditation, prayer, yoga, whatever it takes, but just give everyone grace from the CDC on down. Like they're learning just as we're learning, so things will change. And let's not take that as okay, everyone, they don't know what they're talking about. It's just that they're getting the information and they're giving it out as they're getting it. So it will change, and that's okay because there's no such thing as normal.
That's right. And tell your daughter who said hello. All we saw was her ponytail like going to the screen. So let her know we
That's
appreciate her
right there
joy.
in the corner. There's a picture right
Okay, so
there.
now
So
we
those
good.
ponytails.
Yeah, what's her name?
Mariah.
Well, Mariah, thank you for joining us as well. And thank you, Dr. McGill, for taking the time to share great information with us. Hey, folks, that's what we do. We bring you great resources, great information. And of course, we want you to be informed as you start to make these decisions. That's why, again, Groundwater Solutions, as well as Mecklenburg County Public Health, all available to help you with and navigate any questions you may have. Get off the internet and stop asking strangers or believing strangers. Here are some people that you can actually build a rapport and a relationship with. I saw where I got quite a bit of interest in this job announcement, and thank you to Miss Sylvia and Dr. Black for forwarding it to me. Miss Sylvia keeps me in the know on everything. Again, it's Genesis Project and Groundwater Solution. They are hiring immediately for community health workers across Mecklenburg and Union counties, and you will support COVID-19 testing, outreach, education, and community resources, events and programming, and group interviews for anyone interested on Sunday, September 26th at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 4 p.m. And it's at the office location, which is off Reagan Drive, right off I-85. Very easy to find. You can email hr2 at genesisproject1.org, hr2 at genesisproject1.org, and you can call 704-596-0505, 704-596-0505, and be prepared to get started immediately. They are ready to start you to work on Monday, September 27th. So, folks, we have come to the end of our program. So grateful for you all hopping on. Thank you, Miss Connie and Erica, Jacqueline, and anyone else who has hopped on and I'm not able to acknowledge, but please make sure you share as we continue to get this information out to our community. One of my biggest goals is to have a platform for our community that we can really talk, real talk, and find out about real resources that impact our community, because we're all here together. But I'm meeting more and more people that are really genuine about realizing there's more within us that we have in common than not. And I was with someone yesterday that said the exact same thing. And we're going to get to that, folks, because we're better than this. So let's continue to work together. As my mother-in-law said, we've been taking vaccines and been getting vaccinated for years. So, why now is this all of this mistrust, which we never, ever downplay that. Never, ever, because the history is there. In addition to that, we also understand that you have a right to feel the way you do. So I don't buy into the division, and I never try to make anyone feel any type of way because of the choice that they have made. I just want to help educate you. I'll see you on Sunday. That's right. Sunday morning, Sounds of Inspiration at 7 a.m. on Streets 1033, 100.5. Inspiration and information. And of course, tomorrow is just a Saturday for once. We get to relax. I know my husband will be glad to hear that. But of course, I can't leave without again thanking everyone for coming out to Praise in the Park last Saturday. This past Saturday, we had more than 2,500 to come through there. And I'm grateful for all the vendors, Pastor John Piquet and Arnetta and everyone who ministered. But most importantly, you all, because we could have never had the success without you and the town of Cornelius. So if you're looking for any pictures or anything, it's on social media. I've got to head to my website and post. But I want to say, as always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. I'm Tanya Rivens. Thank you again, Mecklenburg County Public Health, McNC.gov, and Groundwater Solutions for your support. As we continue to work together, we are going to cancel COVID. This is Washington State. Have a great weekend, everyone, and enjoy the